6, 5, 4. We've gone for main engine start. We have main engine start.
Hello and welcome back to a new video of the Rocket Logbook. Finally, we are here after almost 3 months. The all-awaited rescue mission of our previous craft. So, first of all, like in the last video, you can see we are right now building the craft. But this video is no longer an introduction, and we are now gonna get into the deep dive of rocket design. Now I'm gonna narrate a bit how I'm constructing the rocket, and then we'll do other things. Okay. Well, first of all, you can see we are doing a Duna transfer vehicle with a load of Delta V and a load of room, because now we need to accommodate not only the 3 Kerbals or 2 Kerbals, I don't know, but we also need to accommodate the other crew. Um, you can see me here adding some reaction control thrusters, some battery reaction wheels, a mono prop, and then here we are constructing the lander because, well, we had a, well, you may know we had a bit of an issue in the last lander, and yeah. I'll make sure this one works. I've tested it with HyperEdit, um, and I'll show you it's gonna work. Out here 2 of those air spike engines, and we are making some custom landing legs because I don't trust the squad landing legs. These voiceovers done like 3 months after I've recorded a video, so yeah, I don't remember most of the things. I have a script over here. Um, but well, yeah, I think I'm gonna be struggling with the how's it called, the thingy that automates things in Kerbal Space Program. The is able to make like cheaty drives and everything. Okay, so well, we are adding here the ladders, and well, we're gonna add a couple of batteries, some extra things in the lander. You might have seen I've put a remote control unit in the lander. That's necessary because the lander has a capacity of 2, and we have 2 cables in the surface. We're adding extra docking port. Oh yeah, the Cal 1000 controller. That was it. Okay, yeah. We have extra docking ports because we're gonna do some very weird maneuvers, and because these spacecraft uses the medium docking ports, and the other one uses the small docking ports. As you can see, me here, I'm struggling because I've never used this in Kerbal Space Program before. Okay, so now we're gonna design the launch vehicle, which, unlike the last launch vehicle, I hope this one works fine, because I'm having some very bad luck lately with launch vehicles and Kerbal Space Program, because I told you I'm very used to realism overhaul, where launch vehicles can be very tight in terms of delta V, but not in Kerbal Space Program stock. They need to be bang on in stock Kerbal Space Program. So yeah, here you can see me building a kind of Saturn V-ish launch vehicle with a. Well, I think I've gone for the Saturn V-C. Like it's if the Apollo program continued, this would be the next evolutionary step of the Saturn V. I think it's called like Saturn V-C. I'm probably going to be putting a picture here up on the screen of that. I think it's called like that. Just as a reference. Now I'm starting everything up, and I'm putting the action groups. By the way, if you want this very beautiful craft, then just ask me. A little bounce we've had around the launch pad. Um, yeah, I didn't. This is another thing you do in realism overhaul. You don't throw the engines to the max when you're starting the thingy, the rocket. So yeah, my experience with realism overhaul hinders my guest experience here. We're passing through beautiful volumetric clouds. Well, it's a mod. It's black volumetric clouds. Probably if you're watching the video, you know the mod. Okay, so here we're starting the gravity turn to get into orbit. I think it's a more realism overhaul optimized gravity turn. We are now basically off the atmosphere. Here we detach our first stage and we ignite those two, I think they're rhinos, but I'm not very sure which are two J2Xs. We have the Apple absence here, and I'm trying to make a maneuver to circularize. And we are just gonna have barely enough delta B to do that maneuver. As you can see, 1,198 meters per second and 1,197 meters per second. Just gonna have barely enough delta B. Maybe we cannot even circularize, and we are under pressure. Some very nice screenshots over there for thumbnail. You're gonna see one of those in the thumbnail. And oh my god, look at that, 69,960 meters. So we're off by just a bit. So now we need to do a docking maneuver while we are falling onto the atmosphere. So yeah, this is a transposition and docking maneuver. Very common when you're doing those kind of Duna missions or interplanetary missions in Kerbin space program. Not a common when you're going to the moon. But well, by the way, tell me anything in the comments, please. Anything you want next in Kerbal Space Program, because I have some sweet video ideas for things that are not Kerbal Space Program and are other, like engineering debunking. Let's just call it like that. Yeah, I'm planning my next video already, or the real rocket, because I have all the parts right on my hand. You can hear this. Those are 3D188 motors for my rocket. It's not high powered rocketry, of course. It's very low power rocketry. Well, here you can see we've extended the ring, and we are gonna use the Mekchev maneuver planner. This is a pork chop plot. I'm selecting the region of lowest delta V, which is represented by the darkest blue, and this is the maneuver. It's gonna cost us 1,082 meters a second of delta V. And now you need to warp, but Mekchev does some very odd things when talking about warping and then the maneuver. So after we warp to the maneuver, I'm going to, I think, to redo it, because it's very weird. I think it's a bug that I have. I'm not sure if it applies to everybody. Because look at this, and it starts doing weird things, I think. Oh, I may have cut it out of the video. Well, yeah, never mind then. Oh wow, very beautiful sunset right there. Yeah, I think we're gonna, I'm not sure if we're gonna do, oh yeah, we're gonna do 2 maneuvers for this one. Because we are now way off the optimal point here. So we're gonna do 2 maneuvers. So well, let's get started with our script. What do I have today for explanation? So the first thing that I want to explain is the engines of this craft. These engines are nuclear thermal rockets. They don't work, and they're nothing like a conventional rocket engine. There have been multiple examples in real life. One, I think, by the Russians and, well, by Soviets, and another one by NASA, which was the Nerva, which is what this is inspired on, because the Russian engine was very, very, very small. So yeah, you probably know, if you're watching this channel, that a conventional rocket engine burns fuel and oxidizers to, well, in a combustion chamber, which is basically chemical power. It's very, very powerful compared to your car engine, but it's not very efficient. But a nuclear thermal rocket engine has a reactor inside the engine which heats up hydrogen, which is what we're carrying now. We're just carrying liquid fuel, not the oxidizer. Liquid fuel representing the hydrogen. And that hydrogen expands due to the heat. You're gonna probably be seeing here a diagram or something of the NERBA. And there's no combustion. But then you need to carry a 9 or 6 megawatt reactor. The reactor is here no model in stock Kerbal Space Program. I think it's model in Far Future Technologies or Realism Overhaul and all of that. But here's no model, sadly. So it's a very efficient engine for interplanetary travel. It's just like a normal engine, but just it has one fuel and it's very efficient. For comparison, normal chemical rocket engine usually gets about 300 to 450 in extreme cases, like the RL-10. I think it's 480. I'm not sure. I might need to look it up. And the nuclear thermal gets from 850 to 900 seconds of ISP, which is much higher. It's like double. So yeah, there are a lot of benefits to this engine: less propellant, higher efficiency, but there are multiple drawbacks. The first one is that because you're accelerating hydrogen, the engine doesn't have that much thrust. Then the other drawback is that the reactor, a nuclear reactor, weighs a lot. So yeah, you need to carry that weight around. And it's not like fuel that depletes and its weight decreases. The weight is always the same of the reactor. It's very, very expensive. I think that's reflected in Kerbal Space Program, but I'm not very sure. I'm not playing Korea, so yeah, I don't really care about that. So yeah, it's very, very good to transfer to Mars. NASA has been thinking for a while. So yeah, talking about Mars, we're here arriving on Duna. We've seen, yeah, we have an icon counter. You can see here, and we're gonna have like an icon flyby. But yeah, it's not gonna affect our trajectory because it's very far away. But what we are gonna have is an eclipse. You're gonna see an eclipse. In Kerbal Space Program, this mission has everything: explanations, eclipses, maneuvers. Well, you expect maneuvers from, but whatever. So yeah, we're gonna perform this colorization burn. But yeah, we're talking this spacecraft specifically. We have a part that is modded, which is that ring right there that you've seen. So we now are gonna talk a bit about how artificial gravity is made, which is a very interesting topic in terms of spacecraft, because yeah, we're gonna have a debunking in which we're gonna dive very much deeper into this, because gravity in movies, some films is depicted very, very wrong in terms of gravity rings. So in long-term flights, astronauts normally lose a load of muscle and bone. Okay, yeah, here you can see the eclipse, sorry. I thought it was very cool. So yeah, astronauts lose a lot of muscle and bone. It's not simulated in Kerbal Space Program, of course, because Kerbals are immortal and they don't consume anything. But the solution proposed in real life, because this is a real aerospace engineering channel, was to rotate the spacecraft or use a ring. Basically use centripetal acceleration. Not centrifugal. Centrifugal force is imaginary. So the basic formula, which you're gonna be having here, yeah, we have formulas in this channel, okay? If you don't like it, then I don't know, go to another channel. But this channel is an engineering channel. It's the acceleration equals omega squared by r. Omega is the rotational velocity, whatever it's called. You know, I'm not native, so I don't do these things in English. So we have here an example. Pulling up the numbers. If you have a radius of 100 meters and you want a gravity of 9.81, which is Earth's gravity, you will need a rotational velocity omega of the square root of 9.81 divided by 100, which equals 0.13 radians per second, which is approximately that much RPM, which is 3. So a 100-meter ring will need to be rotating at 3 RPM to simulate Earth gravity. Here you have now the ring that we had on the spacecraft calculated. So that offers a very interesting point. A bigger ring requires lower RPM and is more comfortable due to Coriolis effect, which I'm going to explain later. And a smaller ring requires higher RPM and it's more nausea. And it's not that you feel nausea because you're rotating. It's because your balancing system in the ear is not designed for that. So yeah, very interesting topic. Now we're landing here in Duna. You see, I tried to land like probably 7 times manually, but I'm not a very skilled pilot, so I'm using MedJef landing guidance. As you can see, I tweaked the coordinates a bit to not land exactly on top of the target, but MedJef is doing a very good job, and as you can see, I've ensured we have more than enough Delta V in this lander. And parachutes, which is a very important part of the landing process. And we have an antenna because we're controlling this is remote controlled from the spacecraft. So yeah, again, going to the ring thing. Coriolis effect. It's a very, very, very interesting mechanic. So, and very hard to explain. So I'm gonna try my best to explain it here. If you're inside a rotating reference of frame, motion interacts with station rotation. Yeah. Basically, you not understand anything probably. If you know what Coriolis effect is, you understand it. You search it in Wikipedia. Basically, you have there a very cool graph that shows it. So observable effects. If you throw a ball on a ring, on a rotating ring, it doesn't travel straight. It appears to curve. Yeah, you're not gonna believe that, but that happens. And if you see the Wikipedia thing, you're gonna trust me. Okay. Yeah. So you can see we have landed. And walking towards the center, you're gonna feel lighter, and walking away from the center, you're gonna be feeling heavier. As part of Coriolis effect. Moving your head is gonna cause you immense nausea. Because yeah, your inner ear is gonna be very uh, very affected. And the human limit is generally under 2 RPM for comfortable, 2 to 4 for acceptable, and 4 is uncomfortable. You start to get very dizzy. So I have thought of a very interesting thought experiment. Is what if you did sport inside a rotating habitat? That would be incredible. But I'm not talking about like a treadmill. I'm talking about more movement heavy sports. Water flow would also be very disrupted due to Coriolis effect. And if you get a big enough ring, aircraft and drones would behave insanely differently. Like everyday activities become very strange if you're inside a ring because that Coriolis effect, yeah, it's very noticeable. So now you can see we've boarded both of the Kerbals, and we are now gonna lift off. Yeah, lift off the surface of Duna into well, the ship. We've rescued Bill Kerbin and Jebediah Kerbin successfully from the surface of Duna. I seem you've seen we had to do like a little trip right there. Um, and now we're gonna do a little bit of an analysis on why rescue missions are harder than normal missions. Uh, it's very obvious, but you know, engineering, when you use engineering and all of that, don't take anything for granted. Okay, things are not normally obvious. Well, there's some things that are very obvious, but um, the calculations are never wrong. Well, yeah, they are almost never wrong. um, Mars climate orbiter. Um, so on a normal mission, you choose the launch window, the orbit, the payload, and the trajectory. Everything is chosen in, or is arbitrary, let's just say. But on a rescue mission, the orbits are fixed. You have, of course, time pressure. Well, we don't have much time pressure for this video. 3 months in the making. Limited crew resources, which is not a bother here in Kerbal Space Program, but it's a bother in real life if you're trying to do a rescue mission in real life. Like, Apollo 13 was a rescue mission, maybe? Yeah, I don't know. And existing mistakes like the lander, the beautiful Rush lander that I designed, must be solved. AKA, building a bridge is easier than repairing one that is collapsing. Yeah, it's true. If you didn't know that. So yeah. If well, now you can see this is part of the rescue mission thing. We need to do multiple rendezvous. Well, the first rendezvous is a standard rendezvous, is a lander to like mothership. We've got here a very bad rendezvous, but I wanted to do it manually, not with MechChef. As I said, I'm a very bad pilot. But here we can see we've rendezvoused with the spacecraft. So yeah, now we're gonna do the docking maneuver, lazy docking maneuver. Well, powered by Matt's Lounge lazy docking method. I think it's the best for docking if you're not doing like a very realistic mission. But definitely, if you're doing realism overhaul, please don't do that. That feels like a very lazy method. Use MechChef or use your own skills. Docking port alignment indicator. Well, we bumped our very resistant antenna into the spacecraft. Now we're burning towards the planet to impact at as much speed as we can to clear space debris. Kessler syndrome is very bad. Okay. Now, another problem regarding, well, space missions in general, which is radiation. Here, of course, it's not depicted in Kerbal Space Program, but when we'll be doing some real small videos, and yeah, we're gonna be talking a lot about radiation, because radiation shielding is very, very heavy. So first of all, you probably know this, but we're starting from basic grounds as always, because not everybody knows it, but Earth has a magnetic field and an atmosphere that protects us from harmful radiation from the sun and from cosmic rays. Yeah, and that is very hard to replicate on a spacecraft, because you would need a very powerful magnetic field that consumes a lot of energy, or an atmosphere outside the spacecraft. And an atmosphere is created by gravity, because the planet has gravity and it attracts those molecules. So yeah, well, a planet creates a gravitational field, but you cannot create that in a spacecraft. Well, it creates a very small one, not enough to attract anything. Some useful shieldings are water shielding, because water is a very good absorber, but it's very, very heavy. Or metal shielding, like lead, but it's also very heavy. You maybe have a dedicated storm shelter, like the Orion capsule has, a photo on the screen, or I cannot think of all the measures. The storm shelter is quite good because you have a small space with very high radiation shielding for very high radiation events. But for these long mass missions, yeah, it's kind of very hard to bring enough radiation protection because um, the more you're exposed to radiation, the worse it gets. So now you can see we're rescuing Bob Kerman, which is on the ship here. We've run another rendezvous maneuver, and now we're docking. And that's why I told you we needed a different docking port because well, this spacecraft had a different docking port, not the big Clampotron or whatever it's called, but the small one. So yeah, uh, I think we've transferred a bit of fuel as well. We have plenty of fuel, but well, and now we are departing in 1 year towards Earth. Um, that's the maneuver Jeff gave us, and it's more efficient. We could do probably like a direct maneuver, no hover maneuver or anything. Sorry, hover and transfer. But yeah, we have more than enough food. Kerbals consume, well, yeah, Kerbal consumes zero food, so we have infinite food basically, because if you have, well, it's actually an indetermination, but I'm getting to mad things now. So yeah, now we're gonna talk about orbital mechanics a bit. Um, there is a common misconception. Yeah, but you probably, if you're watching this video, you know more. But teaching is free here, so let me enlighten you. um, if the with a car, it's like orbital mechanics have nothing to do with car mechanics. Car mechanics, I'm talking about not the repair of a car, but um, the mechanics of the movement of the car. The car, uh, you point at something or a plane, and you accelerate towards it. But the spacecraft is not like that. You don't point towards Duna, because Duna is moving. Okay, so you point ahead of Duna, kind of, but more. The sun is attracting you, so you have a different trajectory. Um, so you don't point. That doesn't work. In orbital mechanics, basically, is you speed up, you raise your orbit, um, which often increases distance. So phasing orbits are used to synchronize orbital periods, which is what we did. A bit of phasing, a few phasing orbits, which is when you do an orbit to synchronize both spacecraft and gradually close the distance between those spacecraft. So a rendezvous consists in matching the orbital plane, which is the first thing we did, then match the altitude, then match velocity, and then approach slowly and dock. And here you can see we've had for some reason a bug where the module wanted to burn. So I activated cheats very quickly because I think we entered quite the speed. It maybe was because of that, but you're seeing beautiful re-entry effects. So yeah, I wasn't going to accept another failure for this one. Well, that. So yeah, I hope I can now upload more because now it's the summer break. I have a lot of video ideas, so yeah. And I have finally an interesting fact for you. The hard part of a rescue mission is often not reaching the target. It's matching the orbit. Yeah, the rendezvous is the harder part of a rescue mission. So yeah, as you can see, we've now landed safely. So yeah. I hope you've enjoyed the mission overall. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and if you want to see more, subscribe.